Welcome to this explainer. Today we're tackling a really specific yet super common travel dilemma: hotel versus serviced apartment in Dhaka, the best choice for a 15-day stay. Whether you're traveling for business, maybe a medical procedure, university exams, or even a long family visit, picking exactly where you drop your bags is literally the most important decision you're going to make. We're talking about navigating a medium-term stay in the bustling, vibrant city of Dhaka, specifically a 15-day trip. Now, 15 days, that's a tricky middle ground, right? It's way too long to just exist out of a suitcase, but definitely too short to sign a long-term lease. Suddenly, things like comfort, privacy, and everyday convenience become absolutely paramount. Okay, let's dive into this. Before we weigh our options, I really want to establish our localized sourcing. Our data states, quote, "We collect information from various reliable sources, notable among them being Banglamart.com and Hotels.com BD. Through these sources, information on furnished serviced apartment rentals is available," end quote. Basically, we aren't just guessing here. We're using grounded, verified local market data right from the heart of Dhaka to help guide your decision. Here's our quick roadmap for today. First, the 15-day dilemma. Second, a hotel versus apartment comparison. Third, why location matters. Fourth, the exceptions. And finally, the smart choice. Let's get right into it. Section 1, the 15-day Dhaka dilemma. Let's look at space and flexibility. Let's just acknowledge the reality of this specific time frame. Look, if you're flying in for a super quick 2-night summit, your needs are pretty simple. You book a standard hotel, toss your suitcase on the rack, unpack maybe 2 shirts, and you just survive on adrenaline and room service. But at 15 days? Yeah, the magic of living out of a suitcase completely fades. The friction of your environment really starts to wear on you. So, ask yourself this: can you cook a quick breakfast before traffic gets crazy? Dhaka is an incredibly dynamic city, no doubt, but it's also famous for its intense morning rush. If you're in a standard hotel, you're totally at the mercy of the buffet schedule, or you're stuck waiting 45 minutes for room service just to bring up a pot of coffee and some eggs. You lose precious time. Having the ability to just walk into a kitchen, scramble your own eggs, and head right out the door, that is a massive advantage when navigating this city. And what happens when you finally get back from all those meetings or appointments? Do you actually have enough space to work, relax, and maybe even host a guest? Let's be real. Trying to answer emails while hunched over a tiny hotel desk, or worse, just sitting on your bed, gets incredibly claustrophobic after about a week. And if a local colleague or a family member wants to drop by and say hi, having them sit on the edge of the very bed you sleep in is just awkward. For a 2-week stay, you absolutely need a distinct separation between where you sleep and where you actually live. Finally, let's talk about your wallet. Will the cost completely blow up if you have to eat hotel food every single day? Remember, it's not just the room rate you have to worry about. It's that club sandwich at midnight, the wildly overpriced bottled water, the laundry fees for a 2-week wardrobe, plus all the taxes and service charges piled onto literally every single meal. When you multiply those daily incidental costs by 15 days, a seemingly reasonable hotel budget can skyrocket exponentially. Section 2, hotel versus serviced apartment. Let's compare your options. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the physical reality of your choices. We've established the pain points of a medium-term stay, right? So let's objectively compare how these two very different accommodation styles stack up against each other to solve those problems. Notice what you're actually getting. On one side, you've got the cramped standard hotel room, which is essentially one square box where literally everything happens. On the other side, you have the fully serviced apartment. This option brilliantly blends the comfort of a private home with the essential support of a hotel. Think about it. You get a separate bedroom for resting, a living area for working or hosting, and a kitchenette. Plus, you still get all the good stuff bundled in, like Wi-Fi, utilities, security, and housekeeping every few days. You aren't just renting a bed anymore, you're renting a functional living space. Let's break this down into a structured matrix to make it super clear. Looking at space and comfort, the hotel limits you to one room, whereas the apartment gives you a multi-room, really home-like environment. For food and cooking, the hotel forces you into a much higher daily cost of eating out, but the apartment, it provides a kitchen. You can store groceries and control your own diet, which is an absolute game changer if you have a sensitive stomach or specific health needs. When it comes to cost efficiency, the hotel keeps adding on nightly rates, restaurant bills, and laundry. Meanwhile, the apartment bundles your utilities and saves you massively on food, making the per-night average much, much lower. And finally, location. Hotels traditionally dominate commercial hubs like Gulshan and Banani, but for fully serviced apartments, you're going to find the best value and peace in planned residential zones like Bashundhara area. Section 3. Why choose Bashundhara R/A? Finding a calm base in Dhaka. Look, if you're new to Dhaka, the sheer energy of the city can honestly feel a bit overwhelming. Finding a strategic base is critical. Bashundhara Residential Area operates with this great gated community feel, which makes it significantly cleaner and quieter than central city areas. Plus, it has a very strong, highly visible security presence. And it's just brilliantly located. You have incredibly easy access to major universities like North-South University, IUB, and AIUB, along with tons of corporate offices. You're also practically next door to Jamuna Future Park, literally one of the largest malls in South Asia, meaning shopping and dining are always right there. And, depending on traffic, it's a relatively quick ride straight to Hazrat Shah Jalal International Airport. Whether you're here for medical treatment and just need a rest, taking university exams, or visiting family, it provides this wonderfully calm, secure base away from all the chaos. Section 4. When hotels make sense. Let's talk about the exceptions. Now, to keep this perfectly balanced, we do have to concede that a serviced apartment isn't some magical solution for every single traveler. If your profile matches any of these points, a traditional hotel in a commercial district like Banani or near the airport might actually be your most pragmatic choice. For example, if you absolutely require a 24/7 front desk and instant middle-of-the-night support, the hotel wins, hands down. If you want someone to make your bed every single day without you ever having to ask or even think about it, stick to a hotel. Furthermore, if you're flying in specifically to attend a 10-day conference that's literally being held inside a specific hotel ballroom, the convenience of just taking the elevator downstairs is unbeatable. And of course, if your company is footing the bill and mandates that you use their specific corporate brand deals, well, a hotel makes total sense. You pay a premium, but you get that classic, frictionless corporate experience. Section 5, the smart choice. Let's get to the final verdict. But what if you have the freedom to choose? Let's synthesize all this data into a final verdict for your 15-day itinerary. So, the crucial point is this. Step 1, you absolutely need more space than a standard room to maintain your sanity. Step 2, having a kitchen isn't just about saving a few bucks. It's about diet control and not eating heavy restaurant food for 30 consecutive meals. Step 3, a quiet, safe neighborhood like Bashundhara gives you a genuine place to decompress. And step 4, when you add up groceries, occasional dining, and the room rate, the total cost of an apartment over 2 weeks almost always beats the inflated ecosystem of a hotel. A traditional hotel is fantastic for tourism, for sure, but when you stay for 15 days, you aren't really a tourist anymore. You need to actually start living. A serviced apartment lets you live, work, and rest in a realistic, super comfortable way. And that brings us to the ultimate solution for your upcoming trip. If you're looking for a fully furnished or serviced apartment in Bashundhara R, Dhaka, you really don't have to figure it out all on your own. Let REIT-Limited help you find the perfect place to call home during this important time. You can reach out to them directly. Give them a call at +880-1171-1993-377, or just visit their website right now at hotels.com.bd to explore your options. By making the smart choice, you transform your 15-day stay from a stressful logistical challenge into a totally seamless, comfortable experience. The question is, for your next medium-term trip, are you going to just visit Dhaka, or are you ready to comfortably live in it? Think about it. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and safe travels.